Welcome back, everyone. This is your boy Ty Brownlow, Word with Ty Brownlow, special edition. We are cracking the code today. And women, we're answering your questions today. This show is men's answers to women's questions. And I have brought a special guest along here,
Yes, sir.
the brother Chance.
Appreciate you.
He's not a rapper, but
Nah, far from it.
he's a friend.
Yeah.
So, brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Okay. Like I said before, this show is men's answers to women's questions.
Yep.
So I've had some ladies email me certain questions that they've always wanted to ask men, and we're gonna answer those questions.
Let's do it.
You cool?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's roll. So, my first question comes from a LaShondra Mason from Memphis, Tennessee. And her question is, I want to know, why do men cheat when they have a good woman in their life? So before we get into that, she has a little bit of a backstory.
Okay.
And her backstory is, basically, in her mind, a good woman would be someone who supports her man, takes care of the home, which includes you, meaning the man, and the entire family, and someone who is faithful and committed to the relationship. And she says she feels as if men don't recognize a good woman until she's gone. So her thing is, there have been several past relationships that she's been in where her partner decided to cheat. Now she says herself that she's, not without flaws, but she feels very confident in saying that she considers herself a good woman. So she wants to believe that a man's decision to cheat has nothing to do with the woman he's with, but more so the insecurities he has. But so basically it has nothing to do with the woman, but more so the insecurities.
Yeah.
So she's never heard a man admit this, but she would like to hear our take on that. Okay, so I'm going to lead with this one.
For sure.
If you
Let's
don't
go.
mind.
Go ahead. Yeah,
All
you
right.
got it.
So I hear, what you're saying as far as, you're a good woman. My question would be, what categorizes you as a good woman? Now, you say that you clean and, you take care of family, you take care of the home, but certain guys may feel as if, well, that's just the responsibilities of being my girl or, being with me. That doesn't necessarily make you a good woman. That just makes you like clean or responsible. So that question, like, why do men cheat? Men cheat for many different reasons.
There's a plethora of reasons.
So there's just no one set reason. I can just tell you from past experience, like being younger, because I'm married now. So I don't, no, not doing any of that. But when I was younger, basically it was just about, hey, yeah, this is cool, but you know what? It might be something a little bit better.
Yeah.
So let me just take that chance because, I just wasn't into like settling down at that moment. When it came to, me dating, hey, okay, if I found a person or, a female to be, all right, man, she's interesting, I like what she has going on over here and she does this and she does that and she makes me feel a certain way, then yeah. If I don't, want to date another woman outside of that, I'll narrow down and date that woman. But that's just my take on it. But what would you like to say?
I agree with you. I feel like what I thought about, one of the biggest reasons, like just from being around my friends, I feel like dudes get hurt. Like get hurt emotionally. Not necessarily that the girl cheated on them, just for probably the situation they go their way. The girl said, she wants to do her own thing. Okay. And then the dude probably feel hurt about that. Even with the rappers, a lot of rappers talk about, forgive females, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's because they got hurt in the past. So with my experience, like you said, I'm still young, but earlier before I got with my girl, I just felt like I wouldn't wait until I got married. You know what I'm saying? Until I get married, that's when I'll be faithful or whatever the case may be. But that's not the right thing. It's not the right thing to do, morally. But at the same time, everybody's situation is different, like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Some dudes are just selfish. They want they girl and everybody else in the world. So everything works differently. But I feel what she's saying. But if that dude cheating on you or anything, I don't feel like he's for you because he's not all for you.
And I would say this as well. If you feel as if he's cheating and you are not without flaws, then maybe it's something that you all. Mm-hmm. Sometimes let's just be real. It might be you.
Yeah, it might.
It might be you.
Mm-hmm.
It may be the way you all communicate. Like everyone has a different communication language. Mm-hmm. Her communication language may be giving. His communication language just may be verbal. He may not be into like gifts or whatever. He may be more into like, hey, I want to hear how great I am. I want to hear this, that, and the other. Like these gifts that you give me, I just feel like, okay, whatever. Or, this stuff that you're doing, nah, I don't care. So
for sure.
Sometimes you gotta, sometimes you just have to take the good with the bad. Yeah. So I hope that answers somewhat of your question. Mm-hmm. But as far as being insecure, some guys are insecure.
For sure.
And some guys probably feel as if they don't deserve, a good woman. Mm-hmm. Now, as I said before, many different guys will categorize what a good woman is. Yeah. So, as I said, just because you may clean and
cooking and stuff like that,
take care of the home or what have you,
I feel like that should come with it.
Seriously. So,
sure.
I mean, when you buy a car, you feel, hey, windows come with the car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do tires come with the car?
Yeah, can I get a tint too?
Right. I mean, but see, like tint, that's an added feature.
Exactly.
That makes the car look great.
Exactly.
So yes, that's special. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Moving on. Next one. Sean, I hope we answered your question. All right. I have a question. And this is from Pam Raines, a educator in Chi-Town. Okay. All right. And that's exactly what she wrote it. All right. Okay. So her question is, do you believe your soulmate will have habits that are your pet peeves and vice versa?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'll let you take
I don't know, that's a good one. I feel like with my situation, no, me and my girl, we're probably similar. But I feel like you said, everybody gonna have flaws. Everybody not gonna be perfect. Mm-hmm. And be willing to grow with that person, help them, even if it's something that they're used to doing and mm-hmm. they know it's negative. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're willing to help that person. I feel like that shows that you care for them. Because if you just, added on to the habit and just letting it bypass, you're not really helping them grow individually. No. So you wouldn't want someone that's not gonna help you grow. So I feel like the pet peeves part, I don't know. I feel like probably not, because you're gonna be, uninterested if they do have that mm-hmm. at the start. But if you're willing to grow through that, if you see the potential of the relationship, I feel like it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Hey, look, I'm married, and I know I do stuff that my wife may disagree with at times, or she's like, oh my God, not again. Like, you know what? Can you not wear that? Can you do this or can you do that? I'm going to do it anyway. That's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's just too late now.
It's just too late now, But I will say this. I do believe, hey, look, any person that you're with and you really do care and love, they're going to have things about them that you just do not like, okay? Mm-hmm. They're going to have things about them that man, it's just going to drive you crazy. Man. All right?
Especially being with that person all the time. You're going to notice it.
So, fellas, I will say this. If you're with your lady, all right, you all have a beautiful, you all go out all the time. Mm-hmm. You have a beautiful relationship. Everything's great. But, when it's time to go to bed, those feet are cold.
Yeah, they cold.
Man, those feet are cold. Those feet are cold.
Yeah.
And they always, can I just put my foot up? No, don't put your foot up. Man.
A lot of dudes don't like feet, too.
No. So, yes, to your answer about pet peeves, yes. Yeah. Pam, educator in Chicago or Chi-Town. Yes, those are just things we have to live with. And if you love your mate, then hey, you're gonna have to deal with them cold feet. And
like I told my girl, you'll be okay. You'll be all right.
You know what? Just keep the cover up.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Pretty much by your neck. Don't raise it over. You know, you might smell something you don't want to smell.
Exactly.
You know, but that's okay though. But I love you. You know, it's all done with love. It's all done. My next question comes from Shanda Rigsby, Jacksonville, Florida, and this is a very cool question. I would like to know how men know they are with the one, and why waste time with women who aren't. And she wants to know and she wants to know, why don't men fellowship like women do? She's saying that women discuss health, sex, and vent about all aspects. Men could really benefit from tapping into those parts of their friendship.
Very true.
Okay, Shanda in Jacksonville, I'm gonna say this. How do men know they're with the one, and why waste time with women who aren't?
Great question.
That's a wonderful question. As far as I know, or as far as I can say for myself, I envision what my future can be and what life beyond that can be. Like if I brought a life into this world with this person, like what type of like mother would she be? Like what type of family could we be? What are her strengths? Like are her strengths like strong enough for me to like, you know, make this woman, you know, my wife? Are her flaws strong enough, you know, for me to like be like, okay, no, you know what, I can't even help you with that, you know, you like, no.
Yeah.
So I feel like when a man knows that he wants to be with a woman, like all those dangers and, you know, those red flags or whatever, that's out the window.
Yeah.
You know, because he feels as if, hey, you know, I'm a man at the end of the day. I know the good and bad of the situation, and that, man, you know, while looking at it, that's the person I want to be with, I'm gonna go be with her.
Most definitely.
So, why waste time with other women? Well,
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say about that. Why waste time with other women? Basically,
that go back to when you said always wanted to do better.
always
I
wanted
had
to
a
do
friend like say he got a cool girl, like you said, she got everything, but this girl may just look better. So you always have that feeling of, you know, always want to do better as far as the physical aspect.
And that's not 99.9% of the time, that's just all it is.
Yeah.
It's the physical. So it's nothing like, you know, mental that she can say to like take your mind off like the person that you're with.
Yeah.
And also to answer that question, I do believe that is another part of, you know, knowing when you want to be with a person.
Yeah.
When you have that mental connection. When talking to that person, every time they speak, what they're speaking about,
Exactly,
you
that
can
part.
get with. You
part.
envision that. You're like, okay, yeah, you know what? I like what she's saying.
For sure.
I like what she's doing.
Yeah.
I like what she's going. She needs to be with me.
Yeah, yeah,
Go be with her.
for real.
So all that other stuff, that's just, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I feel like the one thing that, like you said, drew me to my girl, like you said, what we talk about, she's an engineer, so, you know, that's different. Like, for like even like the diction she uses, like, I remember one time she got mad at me, she used the word neurologically. I'm like, man, I love you. I love you. I've never heard that word ever before in a text message. And then, yeah, I feel like just the feeling of her, the feeling of me being around her, wanting to be better, wanting to grow as a man, and generally, I feel like that's what drew me to her. Yeah, I feel like that was the biggest thing. That's how I knew she was the one, because she made me want to be better. And I feel like usually in past relationships, I was kind of like the one that was like you need to come up with me. Like, I'm trying to drag you up, but I feel like she kind of, you know, pulled me up, and I like that. It was different. It's like a challenge, as I would say.
So And that is another reason why men know that they're with the one they're with. Like, it's a mental challenge. Mm-hmm. So, hey, you know what, man, like, this can happen and then this can happen. And trust me, when men start doing the things that we say women do all the time, how, you know, you all imagine, well, man, I just met you and you already want a family, da-da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. Trust me, men want families too. Yeah. And if we find a good woman or a woman we consider to be good and we can share that with, oh yeah, we're going all in.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Thank you, Shanda. Oh, I'm sorry. She also said something about fellowship. Why don't men fellowship?
They're probably being more expressive towards other things. I feel like I told my girl this before. She wants me to open up. Like, say if I'm depressed about something or have something on my mind, she wants me to just, you know, kind of vent towards that. And I feel like when I vent towards certain situations like that, I feel like I'm complaining, kind of the sort. And I don't really like that feeling. I feel like as a man, you instead of complaining, I can use that time finding answers to my problems. You know what I mean? So we kind of go butt heads with that as far as like me opening up. And I feel like it's good that men should open up too, because it's not good to keep that bottle inside.
No.
And who better to talk about it with than your partner? So I feel like that's the best thing for it.
That boy's smart.
Appreciate you, man.
The boy's smart. But no, everything you say is true. Look, society has made it where, man, if you're a man, you don't really speak about your emotions.
Exactly.
You know, it is the way it is, woman. I'm coming in, I'm mad. Don't ask me why I'm mad. I'm gonna figure it out and we'll get through it. You should be fine. You should be happy at the fact that I'm home.
Yeah.
But that's how certain men have grown up. And that's not, you know, always the right way. No. And, you know, you have people who, they have to live through that, and that's passed down, and it's passed down, and it's passed down. And I just feel like when we do express ourselves, and even when we try to express ourselves to our, like, you know, homies and friends, you know, sometimes, man, why you over there crying? Stop crying so much, man. You being a little bee, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, tough up, man. Go ahead, man. You know, you just mad because you got called, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, like, you'll be okay.
All right, you'll be okay. And you won't.
No.
Because there's something that you really want to know the answer to.
Yeah. For real.
And like you said, I think men should fellowship a little bit more. We're dealing with mental health these days. Yeah. That's a big issue. And as far as that goes in relation to relationships, man, that's paramount. All right? I feel there needs to be more communication, and communication is always key in a relationship, especially with a person that you feel you are building something with.
Yep.
And, you know, as you said, your girl's an engineer. She uses her brain.
All day.
That's her biggest weapon.
Yeah.
All right? So her brain, I mean, her mind's in constant rotation. So I can hear what you're saying. You know, you don't want to bear her down with all the negative that's going on with you, because you feel if you pour that into her, that can make her feel negative. Yeah. And that's understandable, you know, and I think we need to be aware of that as well. Yeah. So just because I have a negative view towards something, you shouldn't have that view. You know, like your view should be your view. Yeah. So yeah, you know, Shanda, I hope we answered all those questions, because we really did stay on that topic a little bit too long. Okay. I'm just joking. Now, I have a question from a very young lady.
Let's get to it.
All right. Her question: hello, Ty. Years ago, I dated a man who at 37 was feeling like he was ready to settle down. He appeared conflicted in his thoughts, becoming distant at times and talking marriage and children at other times. My efforts to discuss fell on deaf ears, and he reassured me he was fine. He was happy and ready for a future. We moved in together We moved in together despite these issues, and after a month or so, he stayed out until dawn on several occasions. I wasn't happy about it and had confirmation he wasn't ready for a future together, so I ended the relationship and he moved right back with a roommate only after 2 months. He said he wasn't ready to end the relationship and felt that the time apart in separate households would be effective for us, but I disagree. Okay.
Yeah,
So her question is, how can women encourage men to be more honest about the future they see? It would prevent a lot of miscommunication, heartache, and pressure for both parties, in my opinion. That's from Foxy Bear, Chicago.
You want me to take that one?
You can start with that.
Well, she said that he was going out after a month. He was out all night. I feel like that's kind of fast. He kind of giving you like signs that he's not really ready for that. One, and two, for us like men, I feel like men being expressive towards their future, being transparent about what they want. That goes back to what we talked about really being all for someone. If you're all for someone, you're gonna give all of yourself. If you're kind of hesitant. I mean, I don't know how long they've been together. You're kind of hesitant. Probably in the beginning, you're probably trying to figure things out. But once you figure that out, it's kind of like no holding back at that point. So he probably just not ready. And then even he said the time away would be effective. Time away is good in certain situations. Probably like, if you like cheated on someone or something like that, that time does heal. But not just because, bored or need some time alone. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, hey, let's just move.
Yeah, exactly. Get a breather from you for a minute.
Yeah, right. Like, no. But no, I hear that, man. Well, here's my take on this. If he appeared conflicted in his thoughts and, at times he was, back and forth with, hey, you know what? I know I'm acting a little strange, but I really want this. I really want this. That can be a red flag. Especially if it's something that, every time we try to talk about it, there's always an issue in talking about it.
Especially if he recognizes he's acting weird too.
Exactly. Thank you. And, basically, she said that her efforts to, discuss it, fell on deaf ears, but he kept reassuring that he was fine and finding a way for the future. And they moved in together. I can think of a time when I was in a situation somewhat similar to this. And the person that I was with at the time wanted us to move in together. I was very hesitant, even though I was sort of, in dire straits as far as a living situation at that time. I wasn't homeless or anything, but, I really didn't know what my living situation was going to be. And, they were just like, well, man, we're talking or whatever, we can do this. And from a selfish standpoint, I'm going to keep it real. From a selfish standpoint, it sounded great. You know what I'm saying? For me, great. But you know what? On the other side of that coin, there's a misery side. And that misery side outweighed that selfish side a trillion.
That's what you're going to see every day.
And that's what you're going to be living in, misery for trying to be selfish.
Waking up to it, all that.
So I feel, she sort of saved herself. Man, like, she dodged a bullet because, let's just say, they do move in and it does go, down or what have you. 6 months down the road, you're waking up like, oh, God.
That's why I was going to ask you, can you put some blame on the person that does want to move in, even though they are hesitant? Like, you want to move in, but you see signs to where, like, you don't know if it's going to work. Because you kind of, putting yourself in a situation that you didn't have to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, because you made the choice to do so, and you saw the signs. So if you saw the signs and you just chose to go ahead with it anyway, I mean, we're both at fault sometimes.
Exactly.
I wasn't ready. You were, well, not necessarily being selfish, but you wanted a little bit more than what you were letting on. But I mean, they communicated that they wanted this with the person. The person said, yeah. And bottom line, they both agreed to be together. And they thought that, one thought that they would have this idea of a family and a relationship, but the other had other things in mind.
Total different.
I just felt it should have been more communication on that part before moving in.
Yeah.
Because when you move in with someone, now you're signing leases and all this utilities and this, that, what have you.
It's real.
It's real.
Now.
Because you have to see this person every day.
Every day, yeah.
And, but how can women encourage men to be more honest about the future that they see? I just think, seriously, women can probably be honest about where they are right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where are you right now? Like, I mean, we want things, and I remember a time, hey, before I was married, I remember wanting to be married. But was I mentally ready to be married?